Good day and welcome to this edition of Saints Sports, our third show of the year. And just one team still going right now at St. Clair. The other teams are practicing, getting ready, but one team has officially begun their schedule. That, of course, is the St. Clair Saints football team. After their win this past Saturday, they are now sitting 2-0. They defeat the Hamilton Hurricanes 20-6. So two home games to start the season for the Saints, and they're both successful outings for St. Clair. That's good news. The Saints will take to the road for the first time this upcoming weekend. They'll travel to the Belleville area to take on the Quinte Skyhawks, a team they defeated in week number 1. We'll get into that, about that in today's show. We're also going to look at the standings, look at some of the numbers, and I got a couple of great guys to talk football with today, that's for sure. Let's start it off. Of course, I'll have Coach Mike LaChance on a little bit later on, but I'm going to start it off with the quarterback, one of the quarterbacks anyways of the St. Clair Saints. He's been pretty solid the first two outings. Andrew Brush joins us on the show. Good day to you, Andrew. Thanks for doing this with us. And, you start out 2-0. Expectations are always pretty high with this team. This is your first year with the club. Talk to me about getting the first two games under your belt and what you think of the Saints football program.
It's just been great joining the team. It's just a great group of coaches and guys, like very welcoming. As soon as I got there, it just felt like a big family, especially with the first two games just went pretty well. And then, sorry. And it's just been a really good transition to join the team.
Mm-hmm. That transition being you played with the Lancers, another local team here. And I guess, when you go into a situation like that and have to make that decision to move, maybe there's no guarantees. What brought on the change and what was your biggest fear in making the change?
I would say just schooling as a whole made the change. I just decided I felt like the college path was right for me. And then it just so happened, living in Windsor, there was also like a second great football team to play for with the Saints. Mm-hmm. So it made it even easier to just join the team and then have an opportunity.
Yeah, no, you lived in Windsor last year, but originally you're from if I remember correctly, you're from the Kitchener area?
Yeah, Kitchener.
Okay, so you became, I guess, aware of the Saints being last year with the Lancers. And what did you learn about them last year? And you mentioned the college route. And, yeah, I mean, that's the way it works for a lot of players, athletes. They try the university thing. Maybe it doesn't work out school-wise. You have that option of college. What are you studying in college and how does it fit what you want to do and help you with your football?
So I'm in Powerline technician at the Chatham campus for St. Clair.
Okay.
And then it's just like I really enjoy like working outside and my hands. So just that transition to like switching from I was in criminology originally at Windsor, and I just realized it wasn't for me. And then I've just finished my first year this past year at St. Clair, and it's just been really good.
Yeah. Well, it's a great place to be right now. That's for sure. The progress there of the college has just been amazing. Talk to me about playing football and being. You mentioned how it's like a family with St. Clair, and obviously when you made the switch, there was no guarantees. I'm sure Coach LaChance was open to coming to the program, but knowing Coach LaChance for a few years now, he doesn't give out guarantees. He makes you earn your spot, and I'm sure that was the case here.
Oh yeah, it was definitely no guarantee. Even week to week, you just got to keep practicing hard because we got a great group of quarterbacks. Even Matt could easily be a starter and take this team far. So just having a group of guys that are that good just pushes each other to be better. And there was definitely no guarantee to join, but it just made us work harder. And it's just any position.
You mentioned the quarterbacks, and Coach LaChance has been not afraid at all to use two quarterbacks throughout the course of a season. It's worked well. They've had great success with it. He develops two players at the same time, I guess. But how much does that add? I mean, there's always pressure, Andrew. You want to win. You put pressure on yourself to win. You want to play your best every time. But knowing that there's a quarterback that's going to play sometime that perhaps you're not going to play the full game, how do you work through that?
You just got to play your best. And sometimes even last game, you just got to switch it out and let the hot hand go to work and just do whatever's best for the team. Because at the end of the day, we're all just trying to win a championship.
Yeah, that's well said. That's for sure. Talk to me about the first couple of games. Let's get into that a little bit. And you've had a taste of OFC football and a taste of this St. Clair offense, which some amazing weapons to work with. That's for sure. But give me your thoughts, your impressions of the first couple of games in OFC football.
We definitely have some weapons. The receivers, just all of them, like Jared, Lou, Enzi, Mike, Tristan. Just all five of the starting guys are all just like capable, great receivers. It really makes my life easier. Makes me look a little better than I am sometimes. And I think the first game we really showed we can put up a lot of points. Last game we had our struggles, but I think the struggles sometimes help us get better and realize what we are capable of doing, and just lots of coaching points made from that second game that we're going to put into our third game against Quinty for the second time.
Yeah, you're going to see them. We'll get into that in just a moment here, Andrew. We're talking to Andrew Brush of the St. Clair Saints football team, a first-year quarterback with them. You can see some of Andrew's numbers there. I know I've talked to Coach LaChance. He really likes your game. Now that you've had a couple of weeks, where do you see the work having to be put in, Andrew, within your game and also maybe within the offense to get even better?
I would say for me, a lot has to do with my footwork. I got to work on it a lot. And even just learning the playbook more, the ins and outs, the reads, the intricate details. I've only been with the team for, I'd say, a little over a month. So sometimes I have to rely on like the veteran guys, like the spellers, to help me out, and the Jareds, just because I know the playbook, but they've been in Coach Mike's offense for a couple of years now, and they help me out to learn it. And I'd say that's what's going to help get my game to the next level, would just be each week learning more and more and just working on my fundamentals.
Now, not that it's a strange thing to play on the road for you, Andrew, but this is the first road trip coming up for the Saints. You guys have been in camp, went through all that. Your first two games at home. Now you take to the road. How exciting is that to get a road game under your belt?
It's pretty exciting. We're going to Quinty, so it's a couple hours away. It's just going to be good for the team, I think, because the road trips are what I think really bring the team together, when you really just get to spend a couple hours on a bus and all you can really do is talk to the guys, get to know each other even more, just build that trust and relationship with your teammates.
Yeah, a little time for bonding and maybe even a little bit of poker in the back of the bus. So that's not a bad way to spend the day traveling. That's for sure. Andrew, great to talk to you. Congrats on the start here with the Saints. Certainly great to see you in a Saints uniform. And I wish you continued success. And I look forward to perhaps talking down the road with you. Okay.
Okay. Thanks for having me.
All right, that's Andrew Brush, the fine quarterback of the St. Clair College Saints. Speaking of the Saints, let's take a look at some numbers before we get to Coach LaChance. Evan, you're going to bring up, I believe, the standings. Is that what we're going to here? There we go. The standings, and you can see the Saints tied with London. Really no surprise there. London knocked off Quinty last week. Boy, what a way to start the schedule for Quinty. They play St. Clair in week one, London last week. Now they play St. Clair one more time. Two of the top teams in the country. Quinty gets a taste of them right away. And you could see Quinty in last place at 0-2 have scored only 6 points and given up 134. The Saints 102 points in their first two games. So the number is very impressive for St. Clair right now. You can see Hamilton, Ottawa. That's going to be the fight for playoff spots. The GTA Grizzlies, don't expect them to do much, but it's a long season. Improvements will come, and we'll see where all the chips fall when it's all said and done. Speaking of the Saints and the head coach, as always, each week, Mike Lachance, the bench boss of the St. Clair Saints football team, joins us on the program now. Good day to you, Coach. Thanks for some of your time here today. And you got to be excited to be getting on the road with the guys, and a little bit of a change. And as Andrew alluded to, maybe some team bonding along the way.
Yeah, it's a change of pace. It's nice to play at home in that facility, obviously. But like Andrew said, when you get on the road, sometimes you learn some things about your teammates that you might not have known. And with the amount of new kids that we have on the team, it's really beneficial, I think. So we're looking forward to it. And hopefully we get in a little bit better spot after next week than we were this week.
No, I know I have the opportunity to talk to you quite a bit, you and Coach Morency, all the other coaches, Coach Lachance. And the one thing that's been constant, coaches have said, this team's going to build through the year. It's, what you see in week one is not going to be the team perhaps in week 7, week 8. So week 1, you come out 82-0. Week 2, it's 20-6, much tighter game. Played against, I would say, no disrespect to Quinny, but played against a better opponent, obviously. Did you see some progress there in week 2? And is the team trending the way that you wanted them to?
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the game, I know I had an inordinate amount of messages left on Messenger or text message or emails from different people that maybe I played with or coached with or just fans of the game. And they were consoling me on the game on Saturday night. And it certainly, after that, felt like we lost. But we did win 20-6 over a quality opponent. Hamilton's no joke. I talked about how well coached they are. They really did a good job recruiting in the offseason. They have a lot of former CIS players on that defense in particular. And we knew that it would be a tough opponent. So when we could win a game 20-6 and have an awesome defense like we have, step up, and our special teams under Coach Green really played outstanding. And our offense, we didn't put points on the board, but we put up, before penalties, we put up over 400 yards of offense, and even net offense, we ended up with 335. So it wasn't a terrible day. It just, we didn't put the ball in the end zone. We got ourselves in field goal position, and Preston was able to convert those. And it's a good day when you win. Any day you win is a good day, but there's certainly a lot of things to work on. And we went over that on film last night. I see progress. It's not going to always jump, and it's not always going to show in points or these big gaudy scores, and that's really not what you're looking for. You're looking for incremental progress every week with certain things that look like playoff football. And I can tell you, with 5 minutes left in the game, when we got the ball back in our end at our 20-yard line, we had 4 first downs in a row. Any hopes of Hamilton coming back? That's one thing that we didn't do in a very similar championship game last year at home against London, is we couldn't manufacture first downs at the end of the game, and it really cost us. And sometimes a drive where you get 3 or 4 first downs and you end up punting it away is equally as important as a touchdown.
Yeah, you mentioned the offense maybe not putting the ball in, Coach. Obviously, the defense played another solid game, surrendering just the 6 points. But on the flip side, on the positive side, specialty teams were, I thought, outstanding from both sides of it. What were your thoughts there? And was that maybe the strength of the game against Hamilton?
Yeah, I would say our special teams, not just our return units, but our coverage units were outstanding. We only had one where they got positive yardage on returns. We were right in their face on returns. Preston did a great job kicking off and punting. But, I mean, we had return yards. Enzi had 80 yards returns. Dante had 103. Tristan had 104. So you have your 3 return guys all almost with 100 yards returns, which is really – in my time with the team, I think I'm unprecedented to have 3 return guys in the 100-yard range. Pretty special day, I think, and we're really happy with the progress of that group. We knew it would be good because of our depth and our continued emphasis on special teams. So we expected it to be good, but it's even better at this point of the year than I expected it to be, I think.
Yeah, I thought they were pretty dynamic, Coach, and all of that seems to be firing on all cylinders already. Let's talk about going on the road. And again, I guess the good thing here is you're playing a team you're familiar with, being that you saw them in week 1. And obviously, Quinty's struggling right now. They've met you in London the first 2 weeks of the season here, so they're seeing the top talent in the OFC. Again, no disrespect to Quinty, but I think the expectations here are a victory. And, I don't know how much do you change from the first game, or do you even tinker with it, or do you just go in with the same game plan?
Yeah, this early in the season, we just concentrate on us more than anybody. We watch our film and try to really perfect what we do.
Mm-hmm.
Really, what the defense does or what the offense does against our defenses, I mean, it matters, but it doesn't at the same time. We got to get better at what we do. We're going to do certain core value things that we like to do, that we think are our principles of playing football, and we're going to do those at a high level. And generally speaking, that's going to be good enough to get us where we want to be. Second half of the season, we'll do a lot more preparing for the team that we play. But this week, we're really just concentrating on us, and we're trying to get better at the little things.
Yeah, and again, not to look beyond the Quinty game. I guess I know that's first and foremost priority for you and the staff. You don't look beyond that. But the next 2 weeks, the team is on the road, I believe. And do you prepare for that? Like, for being that you're going to be away from home for the next couple of weeks and not back until I think September 10th, around there or something like that. But the road is a good thing, but home is home, right?
Yeah, it's a lot easier to play at home. You're familiar with your surroundings, but I think sometimes you get locked in and focused a little bit more on the road. We've got Quinty, and then we got a big one in London before we come back at home against London with a real scheduling quirk, playing your bitter rival 2 weeks in a row in the middle of the season. It's a lot to ask. So we're really going to have to lock in. This week is kind of last dress rehearsal before that big showdown. You can imagine if it was a Big Ten battle, you'd have Michigan and Ohio State playing twice in a row in the middle of the season. It'd be a bloodbath, and we expect no different against London. And
I'm glad you brought that up, Coach, because some coaches would approach this game against Quinty almost as like a trap game, being that you're looking beyond Quinty and London's there right in your face at London. Again, it was a pretty decisive victory in week 1 against Quinty. I don't know if we should call this a trap game. Perhaps if Quinty was playing a little bit stronger, but still a game that you got to take care of business with. And I guess, do you start trying to prep for London during this game?
No, yeah. Well, I'll answer a couple of questions. No trap game for us. We're going to concentrate on Quinty first and foremost. Mm-hmm. We're going to go up there and give it our best and let the chips fall where they may. And I feel confident in our group that we'll do the little things. We'll correct the little things that we didn't do very well against Hamilton. We'll do those better against Quinty. And really, the score is irrelevant. I know that good things will happen if we're playing our game, and we won't overlook them. Do we prep for London during Quinty? No, we'll treat Quinty as the championship game. So every week I tell our guys, every week is a championship game. So the next most important game is the one on the docket. So Quinty's up next. They're our sole focus, and that's where we're going to play it. And it's not fair to the game if we do otherwise.
How I guess, Coach, you've continued with the 2-3 quarterback system. In week 1, you got all 4 quarterbacks in, but how are you feeling about that up to this point? And do you feel that you have to make a decision at some point as to who's the number 1?
I've always treated quarterbacks a little bit different than most coaches, so I think a lot of people disagree with me. I treat the quarterbacks like any other position. I think it's the ultimate meritocracy football, and you earn it every week. And you heard Andrew say that you have to have a good week of practice, because he knows if you don't have a good week of practice, you're going to be on the outside looking in. I don't rotate. Like, I don't have a rotation in my mind that's going to happen. I don't say Matt's going to come in the 3rd series of the game. It's just I play it by ear. If that game was a little bit different on Saturday night against Hamilton, Andrew might have played the whole game. But I thought he was struggling just a little bit. He was getting out of sorts just a little bit. The answer said he came back to the sidelines were not exactly what I was looking for. And I thought sometimes it's better just to take a step back and watch somebody else do it. And when Matt went in, he got hot. He was 8 of 10. So he had a little bit more success, I think, than Andrew did in the game, and really enabled us to kind of secure the victory at the end. And for a young guy, he did a really good job. We're back to Andrew as the starter, and I told them 2 seconds after the game was done, my mindset is no different than it was before that game. Andrew's the starter right now. And Matt will come in when I feel like it's a good time for him to come in. And we'll let them kind of battle it out a little bit. And I don't close the door on Matt eventually taking over. And I don't close the door over Andrew being the guy who plays every minute of the rest of the way. It's just going to be a feel thing for me. And I'm going to do what's, I think, best for the program, best for the team.
Yeah, it's a pretty good situation to have there, Coach. 2 quality athletes like that to, work with each other, first of all, and then if needed, one goes in. Like you said, maybe one guy's having a bad day, the other guy picks up the slack. So nice 1-2 punch there for sure. What about the rest of the team, Coach? 2 weeks in, I always ask about the health status, how the team is that way. Obviously, you want to keep everybody healthy. We're early in the schedule. The team, I'm guessing, I didn't hear of any injuries, specific injuries. So how are you that way heading into week 3?
A lot better than we were last year at this time. We had a lot of injuries last year. I don't know if it was the year after COVID, but this year we're a lot better. There's some guys banged up. We've got a couple guys with turned ankles in the game, or a little bit sore here or there. But I think they're all manageable things. You might have a guy or two miss Quinty because of injury, but nothing that's going to be long term projected. And we had a couple things early in the training camp that kind of set some guys back. But I think as a whole, once the season started, we're in pretty good shape. We've been taking care of ourselves. And a lot of that has to do with rotation as well, right? If you're playing 5 or 6 running backs, and like you said, we played a couple 4 quarterbacks now anyways, rotating all the receivers and 15 receivers that are on this team. 10 offensive linemen all played in the first 2 games. So you're not taxing anybody early in the season. You're letting them get acclimated to things. And certainly when the big games come, less guys played against Hamilton than they did against Quinty. And now that we're on the road, we're subject to a 55-man dress roster, so you're going to have even less be able to partake in a game. I won't play 4 quarterbacks against Quinty because I can't dress 4 quarterbacks. So it's one of those things where guys will play a little bit more, and sometimes that's good too because you'll get more reps for the guys that you project as starters.
All right. Good stuff, Coach. Congrats on the start here, 2-0. That's great news. Hopefully it's a 3-game winning streak after this Saturday. And then we'll talk again next week about the first real big test of the season when you're on the road to London. And hopefully the winning ways continue there as well. But always appreciate your time here, Coach LaChance.
Thanks, Tom.
All right. Speaking of the Saints and the London Beefeaters, again, not to look too far ahead, but for our schedule here at home, our next broadcast with the Saints, again, will be against the London Beefeaters. That's, of course, after they play in London the previous week. So September 10th is when the Saints do return home. That will no doubt be another big game, depending on, no matter what of the result of the first meeting. It could have playoff spot implications. These are the 2 teams that are being ranked highest in the CJFL and certainly in the OFC. And right now they both sit 2-0. So it could be 2 teams that are 3-0 heading into that week number 4 in London. And of course, we keep our fingers crossed that the Saints find a way to win that contest as well. So that's everything Saints sports right now. We're going to continue our coverage throughout the season. We'll be checking in with some of the other teams. The baseball teams are close to starting, so we'll be checking in with those groups in the very near future here on Saints Sports. But until then, we'll follow the Saints football team and their progress throughout the first few weeks of the OFC football schedule. That's it. On behalf of everybody here at We Digital Productions, this is Dominic Papa thanking you for tuning in. Take care, everybody. We'll see you again next week.